Vincent Omambe. I'm the CEO of the Kenya Golf Union. And Kenya Golf Union is the federation that owns the Kenya Open Golf Championship. As you are all aware, the Kenya Open Golf Championship was supposed, what was that, the Magical Kenya Open, was to take place just a week after, actually 6 days, when the announcement was made by the CS Ministry of Health, stopping all international sports. And of course, there was a lot of losses suffered by the organization. But one of the things we also run is the Safari Tour, which is a tournament for the professional golfers. Golf probably is one of the sports that has an amateur element and a professional element, which is very separate. And for the professional golfer, the Safari Tour is a tournament that we run. We have written to the PS requesting for an okay to go ahead with the planning for the Safari Tour, which is what we use to prepare our professionals for the world stage. So our question is, with this report, are we allowed, or should we wait until the 7 days are over for us to start planning for the Safari Tour? The other question is, the international golf, competitions, especially for the professionals, have commenced. The PGA Tour of the US have had several tournaments, and so has the European Tour. And the European Tour have given us a date for the Kenya Open, the Magical Kenya Open, that is 12th. That's the rescheduled tournament. So after it was postponed in March, we received dates for between 12th and 15th of November. What do we need to do to ensure that this goes ahead? We have sent the protocols, as I say, to the PS, and we are awaiting feedback on the same. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for that question. We have Mr. Wycliffe Mukolo. Mr. Wycliffe? Mr. Mukolo.
It's not smiling. Hello, good morning.
We have Mr. Wycliffe.
Can you hear me?
Mr. Wycliffe? Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
My question was on swimming. I'm a member of the Kiambu Swimming Federation. In a whole, we are under KSF Swimming Federation. We're asking about the coaches that are out in the product now, because most swimming pools have been closed and most of them are not working. And they have sent a request for the swimming pools, but I can see you're still recommended the swimming pools to be closed, and you are all expecting to open up the pools all over the country. But the problem here is swimming will remain closed, and swimming itself will go with the COVID-19. Let's say it will end with COVID-19 because of you closing the swimming pools, and the swimming is in accordance to FINA, our international federation. Swimming is in accordance to FINA, swimming is safer compared to most sports. That's my question is, why have you lagged on swimming compared to other sports where swimming is probably more safer? Let's say safe in accordance to the virus itself. Swimming is safe compared to other sports. That's my question is, why are you leaning on swimming to be closed, yet it's very good, it's safer compared to the rest?
Very much, Mr. Mukolo. Allow me to invite Dr. Ongeti and Commissioner to respond to those that final round of questions. Again, leave your questions in the dialogue box, and we will take them into consideration as we further engage the Ministry of Health on the guidelines. Dr. Ongeti.
Thank you so much, Rose, and indeed for the questions that have come from our stakeholders. As we had mentioned earlier, these guidelines are informed by the Ministry of Health guidelines at large. And the Ministry of Health guidelines are also informed by other broader guidelines, and also in terms of ensuring that we deal with the pandemic that is at hand. So yes, indeed, as at the moment, swimming, the advice we have for swimming relates to that particular situation, and it will remain so. And perhaps, as we have indicated, if there is any change, then we'll also review the same. But we've also received very good input from the swimmers in this forum, and we'll be able to consider that advice. There was also a question on how often the testing will be done. And I just want to indicate, as I've indicated in the chat, that the Ministry of Health is reviewing this and will advise in due course. Obviously, the question by Mr. Ongombe in terms of golf also relates to initial other questions around opening up of the calendars across the globe. But we are also cognizant of the fact that the reopening of activities around the globe have been informed by those countries being able to put in place very robust measures, public health measures, as well as testing, controlling, isolation, and so forth. And so we are also taking and cutting out solutions uniquely positioned for our circumstances here as well. But obviously, as my colleague Rose mentioned, that where there are international events, we have been able to facilitate as much. We are alive to the fact that there is need for training here, and that's why we are trying as much as possible to get these protocols properly aligned so that they can be able to facilitate these particular athletes as well as sports organizations. So Commissioner will deal with the rest of the issues.
Yeah, I also know that there's a legal question that has been posed on indemnity, legality, and responsibility, and also on sponsorship agreements. So if Christine is in the meeting, Christine is the legal officer in the ministry, please prepare to answer that question. Back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Rose. I believe okay, as we're moving on further to what Felix has inquired, is that aspect of also the issue of the part of the regard to the risk concerned. The Ministry of Health is still reviewing that matter. Maybe we'll give further information on the same. And on the one for Mr. Warombe on the golf, actually been engaging with Mr. Warombe for quite a while, and I told him that golf is a non-contact sport and the risk is quite low compared to other sports. What was making us not make any move was that the ministry had not yet consulted or finalized the consultation with the Ministry of Health for us to give the guidelines, and I believe today we've done so. And I'm sure now at least there's a window. It's now open, you can move forward and follow the protocols or other requirements for health, and I believe for golf can be able to begin without any further delay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Commissioner. I know that Christine was having technical difficulties. Christine is a legal advisor in the ministry, but I'm also a lawyer. So I would kindly request that you send that question to the email provided, cabinetsecretarysports@gmail.com, and I'll be able to prepare a legal response to that question to address it and to give it the due weight and consideration that it deserves. Honorable Chair, allow me to give the meeting back to you and the Principal Secretary. Honorable Chair.
Thank you so much, Rose. Thank you, participants, for that very insightful contribution to this meeting. We are truly elated by your contributions and your concerns. All questions that have been asked will be to within the time frame. Is the PS there?
Yes, Cass, I'm here. Yes, I echo your words. Actually, I should have spoken before you did because you're the chair, so you closed the meeting. But nonetheless, I echo your words. It's been very exciting getting the
I haven't
feedback.
closed.
I think
I haven't closed the meeting yet, PS.
Okay,
Just
okay.
go ahead.
Okay, so
Just go ahead.
Mine is just to thank the stakeholders and to encourage you. We want to close this exercise within the next 7 days because you could see by the engagement today, there's a lot of anxiety for people to resume, but we need to understand that there's no single sport more important than the other. Every sportsman and woman who makes a living out of whatever generally they practice is as important in our eyes, and therefore what comes first to us is the health and safety of everyone. So as I had said earlier, let's be cautious about the speed at which we want to resume because we don't want to start having fatalities that we can't manage moving forward while the whole country itself is involved in this war against an enemy that we do not see, but is very little in the impact of this. Having said that, as a ministry, we all, kind of appreciate where everyone is coming from, where the federation is coming from. I want to echo what Rose said earlier. This means we need close collaboration moving forward with the entire leadership of the sports federations and all the stakeholders out there. We need a close dialogue. It is our hope as a country that we will actually be able to begin to flatten the curve of COVID, but we don't know what will be ahead of this and what other challenge will come. So collaborative effort between yourselves and the government is very important moving forward. If that's one lesson we've learned from COVID. So I want to encourage every individual that has either an idea to add or a question to please send it by email. At the shortest time possible, so that you can give us in the ministry enough time to engage the Ministry of Health and get back to you within the 7-day window. With those few remarks, I thank you once again, and God bless you all and God bless our country. Over to you, Pastor.
Very well. Thank you so much, PS, for that statement. Distinguished participants, we've come to the end of the meeting. Indeed, the contributions have been very fruitful. We have had very valuable contributions from everybody. The 7 days window that we have now is to make sure that all these views and opinions are collected together. We want to move very fast, and we pray hard that within this time, the pandemic doesn't change phase again. And if it does, then we should be able to stand firm and be able to move on. Sportsmen and women are resilient in their practice in day-to-day affairs, and I have no doubt that we'll overcome this pandemic that has caused so much havoc within our lives. And therefore, please don't get tired. Continue raising your concerns. Send your contributions. Send your suggestions, your questions within this time that we have provided, the 7 days. And hopefully within the 7 days, we'll be able to have a final product that will be rolled out to everybody. Please be on the lookout and do your bit by giving your contributions. To the task force members, our job has just begun. After collecting all these views from the stakeholders, we have just now begun to put the final product and piece together all these contributions that we have so far received. And I am sure within the 7 days' time, we are going to have a final product to be released to the whole country. Thank you so much, everybody. Rose, if you are the host. If there's nothing much else, we will continue. And the task force will have to get its own invitations for further on the normal the platform that we use to communicate amongst ourselves. Look forward towards that. And thank you so much, Rose.
Thank you so much, Honorable Star. It is not permitted to speak after the chair has closed the meeting. But allow me, Chair, to just thank everyone for such a great meeting and to thank you for your excellent leadership. We look forward to working together and to ensuring that we keep our sports persons and our sports fraternity safe. Thank you very much, sir. Please feel free to leave at your own pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wamemaliza. Can leave.
Have you stopped streaming?
No, I'm not.
With the first thing.
Ndio imetoka. Unasema nini? So wamemaliza.
Sijui